Hello, my name's Farrell, and this is my true crazy NYC stories. So today we're gonna be talking about the story of when I first had to travel to the Bronx to Brooklyn to always going to school. So the thing that makes that whole situation crazy, the fact if anyone knows, but going to borough, it's gonna take you like an hour and a little bit, hour and some minutes to even get there. So the thing is with me, at first, on the train, I used to only have to take 3 stops. At the time, then I came from only taking 3 stops to go to school to 26. And that is just doing just way too much when it comes to going on the subway. My mom even definitely knows what that feels like too. But to get started with this story, first I would say it's just the thing about the subway is dirty. It's dirty sometimes. It's dirty sometimes. It'll smell, and then you'll always find you meet just random people on the subway. And the issue with that is just on the subway, you'll find homeless people and people that are not 100% in the mind. And I've definitely met just all those type of people. And during time situations, there was this one situation. I'm going to school. I think this situation. I'm going to school. Oh, I forgot. Another thing before I tell this story. Another thing is doing that. I had to take 2 or 3 trains, which at the time for me was a little overwhelming because I've never done that before. I had to take the 2 to the 5, and that's I think, or that's what I think that was an option, but for the ones who just that take 20 something stops, it really was a lot. I would fall asleep almost every single time on probably almost every single time on the train. Yeah, I did have AirPods. I did have that's entertaining, but no, I just definitely could not stay awake for all that time, knowing I had to wake up early to get to school. And the type of school that I went to, it's if I got there late, I'm not gonna get in trouble. There's not gonna be anything about that. That's for another story for the type of school I went to. But yeah, it's if I did go there late, I'm not getting in trouble. Not gonna have to get some type of paperless or paper thing for any of that stuff. So that's the good news with that. And with me being so new to New York, yes, there's definitely times where they passed my stop and I had to figure all that out with trying to go the other side. Cause for those who just don't know, with a certain subway, there's 2 sides when it comes to the train. When you're on one side and on the other side of the train, there's a side when you're on the other side of the train. And I didn't know about this or really know about this that much at first, but it's either you can just walk upstairs, go on the other side, or depending on the subway station, you have to actually get out the subway and literally cross. And the bad thing about that is you have to slide your card and pay again, and that's always a whole thing with that. And that's the problem. Oh my god, I did and there's plenty of times where I definitely fell asleep and that's happened. But there's always those times. I remember there was a time where trying to get to school, and I went the wrong way right after missing my stop. I think I went the wrong way twice, and it just I'm oh my god, the fan changed to the whole thing. But at the time, I was all new to doing all that stuff, so I didn't know exactly what to do. I was really trying. I think I was really trying to figure that stuff. At the time, not I called my mom or anything for help. I don't believe. Yeah, I was just really trying to figure that stuff out. And now it's just like a lot, especially from a person who lived in a state where it's like you just need to drive, and I was so used to doing all that. And like, this would be a whole nother story, but I also have like medical conditions for like, for example, like my feet hurting when I walk for a while, like short, and like for a while, there's sometimes like shorter times than others, but that is always like a whole thing. And I think there's like times where I would get to school, you you would probably see me like kneeling a little bit, 'cause it's just like with all the walking, and it's just with times with that, it's always like hard, but I definitely was able to push through it. I had to make that a regular thing. And it's like, for another thing about the train, you really shouldn't like fall asleep with that type of stuff, especially with your valuables. Or if you do, this is just for a little tip for anyone like just moving to New York. Always like hide your stuff in your pocket. Anyway, to like hide like your phone, like your wallet, that type of stuff. Always keep it in your pocket. Don't ever just have it just on your lap and stuff. Cause like I said, when it comes to like being on the train for a while, especially I feel like any more in 30 minutes, I just wouldn't be surprised. But a lot of people like basically falling asleep on the train if you find a seat. And oh, that's like another thing. What, like, especially with me, with my feet thing, and if I just always try to find a seat if I can, because not everyone is just gonna let you. They're like, for the most part, I think if you ask, and it's probably like if that person was sitting on in that seat for a while, they'll probably like let you. There's like, they'll probably let you. And there was like times, I think, yeah, I think it was like, going to the Bronx, I had to bring. No, like, no, this is way after that. Never mind. But it's just like with times like that, it's like some people will be nice, some people will just ignore you, some people will just, or some people will just like let you sit. It's usually depending on the person. And then just like another thing about New York, which is about like everywhere, but with New York, when it comes to like the homeless people, I'm not trying to like disrespect homeless people, but it's like, ugh, sometimes they're just obviously not okay in the mind, and there's times where like they probably smell, or it's just like with kids with strangers, like you don't talk to strangers, they will sometimes just immediately talk to you even when you're trying to not even talk to them. It's always like that thing, or like don't look them in the eye, and obviously they won't say anything to you. But this has happened to me many times where I like don't look them in the eye, but I probably looked in that direction, and they say something to me, and you try to ignore it. And there's always like the thing with kids, like, don't talk to strangers. That thing of like, don't talk to strangers, or like ignore those type of people. You know, there's a time where like I do that, and like they talk to me, and it's just like I really try to ignore them, but they just like say something, or like do, like, not do anything crazy, but like they do something to the fact that like you have like it makes you have to talk to them. And I just always get so like upset with those situations, kind of just like I just want to just like to leave people be. And there's always gonna be those situations, just like when it comes to homeless people. That's happened to me, not just on the subway, at McDonald's, like chain places, n- near the street. Like, I definitely have upcoming McDonald's stories I will tell you when it comes to that type of stuff. But it's just, with all that being said, it's just like New York is such an interesting place to live. We also have to be careful with that type of stuff. And like the one, even though this was a terrible time for the world and New York when it came to COVID, because for those who don't know, New York was like the most like state. I'm probably not saying it's right, but like the most state of like having COVID. And like even though it's a bad thing, I was like happy about that. I remember eventually, even though for a while I had like accessoride. I remember one time when I missed it, I take the train, and this probably actually after the Bronx. I remember one time I had to take the train, and I saw like there was like no one. I was like yes, there were like barely people. So it's like I actually have areas to sit, and I actually like won't be bothered compared to like when it's crowded and stuff. That was like that's like one of the only things I liked about like during the COVID time. It just like the fact like I actually have somewhere to sit and it won't be too crowded. There's always like in the Bronx. Also, there was always like this one stop where like there's like a bunch of people getting off, and it's like yes, because then I'll have somewhere to sit and it won't be as crowded. And even like even before COVID, like you don't want to be like just touching people and that type of stuff. But there's times you have no choice when it comes to being crowded. And like I feel like the subway can sometimes be like one of the most dirtiest like uh areas to be in when it comes to New York. It's just like it's sometimes be filthy. Another thing was like especially after COVID and like during it's like you have no choice but to hold on the pole. But definitely if you like hand sanitizer, definitely even though I didn't do this for some reason, it's probably like always smart depending on the type of person you are. Just wash your hands once you get to your location after the subway just cause how it be. And oh my god, the smells sometimes that would be on the subway. And I ain't gonna lie, the type of smell that you will be smelling when you're like waiting on the train and stuff, I feel like it's not the best smell. But I feel like I'm just so used to it by now. I think there was times where like when I lived in Atlanta, but I traveled to New York, I just couldn't stand the smell of the subways and stuff. But because I just lived here for a while now, I'm just so used to all of that. And another thing like with the subways, I always try to be very cautious when it came to yeah, it's great. So I feel like when you go on the subway, there's like this I think it's like this yellow line at the end of the subway, and it's like the side of the subway, and it's like it's definitely for you like to stay behind so you obviously don't fall or anything. And for me, I just always try to be really really cautious. I always be looking at that area, just be like thinking like like man, if I fell or I couldn't get back up in time. I do be having like those thoughts sometimes when I be on the subway. And, like make sure like no one pushes you, cause like I said, even like before you get on the actual train, it'd be like mad crowded in there wherever you be. And yeah, that'll be the end of my story. One thing I do hope if I ever like live by my live by myself and stuff, if there if there's actually like luckily happen, I'll be in a chill area where it's like not too much of those type of people be bothering me. Cause like with the upcoming story that I got, oh my god, it's happened to me so many times in so many different areas. But yeah, that'll be the end of my story. And I will continue with these stories because I got so much more coming up. This is just the beginning. And I'll see y'all.